Welcome to another cast of Evolution RTS. This is going to be between Godde and FlopFlop. And we have Godde down here in the bottom left and FlopFlop up in the top right. Okay. And it looks like Flop's going for a 6-mech start again, and Godde's going to go for a 4-mech start. Currently anyway. Yep, 4 mechs, and there goes his factory. Once again, this allows Godde to get out his first raiders more quickly, but his economy suffers a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. It looks like Flop is mixing his up just a little bit. Oh, looks like there was a pause going on there. Okay, so Flop just had pizza. Good to know. His micro might slip a little bit, along with the pepperoni. Okay, and looks like, wow, okay. Before building any units, Godde is actually going ahead and building storage, which is interesting. It actually helps him quite a bit because he's essentially doubling his storage capacity right now. You start out with 250 energy, and now he has a maximum storage of 5. So even with just 2 power plants, he can get away with having a fairly intense battle where Flop's units will run dry, and Godde's will still able to be Godde's units will be able to fire twice as long as Flop's will. And that raider was awfully excited to get over that hill. Okay, looks like Godde sees all these raiders, and right now he's going, oh crap. And here come all these raiders. Flop's being very aggressive. That's actually not going to serve him very well. Because Godde's just going to get all of his raiders, and wow. That raider went for a ride. Alright. Okay, so Godde's pushing. Loses a couple raiders. No big deal. He's going to try to get these. And he does. Manages to freeze them over the hill, so he's pushing hard with his Overseer. Loses 2 raiders, is about to lose a 3rd, only gets 2 raiders out of it, kind of broke even. Godde's being really aggressive with his Overseer, extremely aggressive. However, he's getting shot up pretty badly, but that energy storage is doing a lot for him, because he's able to sit here and keep blowing 50 energy every time he EMPs. He's starting to get a little bit low, but Flop is essentially sending units into the meat grinder. Godde's going to have to pull his Overseer back at some point. He's taken too much damage. However, he's being extremely cost-effective with his Overseer here. He is in a little bit of trouble, though, because his Overseer only has 1,500 health. That means 2 EMPs from Flop's comm will freeze. And there goes Godde raiding in the southeast. Oh no. Flop's economy is going to get gutted. And he doesn't have any units in position. It looks like Flop's going to try to base trade, but there's no way that Flop can support this. He's not going to be able to put out enough damage. He doesn't have enough energy. Yep, and Flop runs dry on energy, and now Godde's basically going to get free kills. Oh, that's tough. Ouch. That was a bit of a gamble. However, Godde's army did get hurt quite a bit, so what Flop should do right now is just cut his losses and come back to his base. It'll take a little while for these raiders to kill his power plant, so he has a little bit of time. As long as he still has 2 power plants, he's in okay shape. And see, Flop can just pull back. He can EMP with his Overseer and take out this entire group without any losses. However, it doesn't look like he's going to. Looks like he's just going to take them out the hard way, which means he's going to lose some raiders. But on the other hand, okay, well, I thought he was going to go build some metal extractors, but okay, there we go. He's getting his economy back up. He actually did a good bit of damage to God, but on the other hand, God's been macroing behind this. Just his army is more or less non-existent, but as we saw in the last game, Flop is a lot of times not quite aggressive enough, and God's going to stop this push temporarily here. He may actually be able to stop it completely just using his commander and these 2 bashers. And he's getting several... Oh! That's huge! He gets 2 free raider kills. And God's economy is doing really, really well. His energy economy isn't doing that great, but... his energy economy is doing awesome, but his metal economy is hurting a little bit. Flop's is definitely better. However, the thing is, in these battles, God is essentially using heavier units. And so as a result, they're able to put up with this a lot better. His units have more range than Flop's, and they're also able to do a lot more damage to buildings as well. And Flop may lose this engineer. Oh, that hurts. That's 30 metal and a builder. Okay. Looks like Flop's getting some more energy economy. It's probably going to be too late, yeah, and their Flop is self-destructing, which is basically the same as saying good gee, or good game. This was a really neat game between these 2 guys. I really think that, once again, I think Flop could have won this game early on. It's when God's economy really gets going that Flop starts falling behind, and God is just able to keep putting the pressure on. God did some really good raiding, and it really cost Flop because he was not in a position for it. If Flop had had some radar, it could have been a very, very different story. But as it was, great game between these guys. There's one more. I'm going to cast it in just a moment. Stay tuned.